This is Morning Motivation for Educators on the Bee Podcast Network. Learn about all the shows at beepodcastnetwork.com. You'll hear from a variety of formal and informal educators who help put this podcast together. If you'd like to contribute your voice to this show, please go to morningmotivationedu.com to apply.
Welcome to Morning Motivation for Educators. I'm Danielle Neufer, a former teacher who's been where you are, exhausted, stretched thin, and questioning how to keep it going. After 20 years in the classroom and 2 bouts of burnout, I've discovered tools and practices that help me not just survive, but thrive as an educator over the long haul. Teaching well is about helping educators like you manage stress, build resilience, and reclaim the passion that brought you here. Each episode is a moment to pause, reflect, and take small steps toward feeling more grounded, energized, and fulfilled in your work. Because when teachers thrive, everyone in the school community does too. And I'm here to help you make that happen. So regularly on the podcast, I plan on sharing a Teaching Well 3-2-1, a short pause to think about what it means to teach well across a lifetime. This month's theme is about new and fresh beginnings, but not the loud kind. I want to introduce you to the quieter kind that actually last. So 3 things worth your attention. Here's 3 things that I feel like maybe deserve a little bit of your attention over this next month. I want to share with you first a book that I think is worth thinking about. It's a book called I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. And despite the title, this book isn't about someday or retirement. It's about designing a richer life now. And for educators who are often told to wait, to sacrifice, and push through, this idea can be quietly powerful. And I've got to tell you that as a teacher, I have found the ideas in I Will Teach You to Be Rich and all of the work that Ramit does with his podcast and other content to be extremely applicable for a person who never intended to be a multimillionaire. You know, we went into the teaching field, and it's about building a rich life in your present moment while still planning for your future. And I feel like if enough teachers really took this to heart, you would see the incredible amount of richness your life can have based on the schedule that you have for school. So I just invite you to just really dive into that because I've found it to be extremely beneficial. An idea worth your attention: a better life doesn't usually come from adding more. It comes from deciding what matters enough to keep and what can be simplified. So again, that is about not adding stuff, but pruning. That's what we're not going to say take away. We're going to say prune. Prune your life, because that is really going to enhance it. And maybe that sounds counterintuitive, but try it. And then one small personal shift I just wanted to share that is starting my new year, new beginnings, is I started really paying attention to getting at least water and splashing my face in the morning. It's simple. It's almost embarrassingly simple. Yes, I shower, but in the morning after I brush my teeth, I never used to splash water on my face to wake myself up. And it changes my energy. It's a pause. It's a reset. It's a signal to myself that the day has begun. So yes, you can laugh at me, but that has been a little shift I've added to my morning routine. So that's the 3. The 2 I'd like to share are some better questions. So I think questions are really important for how we live our lives. So when we ask ourselves and others better questions, we get better answers, and then we can move forward with better information. So here's a question I'd like you to ponder. What would feel simpler but more supportive right now? So sometimes we think simple equals not as good, but what could feel simpler but more supportive? So that might mean saying no to something. That might mean getting off a committee that you signed up for and really haven't felt much energy towards. Could it be that you get rid of clothes in your closet that you never use? It would be simpler. It would feel supportive because you wouldn't have so many choices to make. There's so many things you could think about. So just open your mind to that. And then another question that I think is a better question: where am I adding effort out of habit, not intention? Where am I adding effort out of habit, not intention? So you're just doing more because you're doing more, but you're not really being intentional about it. So, where are you just doubling down because you've always done that, but you're not really getting the results that you want? It might be better to move some of that energy to something else. And then one small thing to try, and this is the classroom edition. This is the definite classroom part. Simplify one of your transitions this week. Can you do something with fewer words, fewer directions, one consistent phrase or routine? Notice what happens to you and your students when less effort creates more ease. Can you say less? I gave this example to a teacher I was working with. We were talking about, how to get teacher or kids' attention, and I had noticed that he was, really shouting over them to get their attention. And he said, "Danielle, I just don't get it. Like, what do you mean I need to have like a signal to them?" And when he was talking, I just went over to the light switch and just shut the light switch off. And then I turned it back on. And he's like, "Oh, I get it. Just turning the light, like you don't need to say anything. Like doing that one little thing makes them respond because they get that that's the next thing. And it's not my voice. It's something else that they're paying attention to." And, that has made a big difference in, him fighting for attention in his classroom. So my hope is that this feels less like one more thing and more like a steady companion as you move through the school year, supporting not just how you teach, but how you live as someone who teaches. So hopefully next month, the 3-2-1 will also be inspiring to you, not just in your teacher life, but in your whole life. If this idea resonates with you, I'd love for you to explore it more deeply. You can order my book, The Path of the Mindful Teacher, or join the waitlist for the next round of Meet the Mess with Mindfulness, where we practice these ideas together in real time. Find links for this training and other ways we can work together at teachingwell.life and in the show notes. Remember, caring for yourself is the best way to care for your students.
Thanks for listening. And whatever role you have in education, we have a podcast for you at bpodcastnetwork.com. Who among your friends and colleagues needs to hear this message today? Please share it with them right now.